And it looks like we are live. All right. What's going on, citizens of the Crumb Side? Your great exposer is in the building. And welcome to yet another special edition of Chronicles of the DD214. Tonight I've got a special guest here with me. The man who first exposed Blackie Lebowski for stolen valor and who allowed me to get the ball rolling on this whole Chronicles video series. The man whose initial video exposing Blackie as a fraud I've referenced multiple occasions. The Red Raven. What's going on, dude?
What's up, man? Couldn't be happier to be here right now.
Another day in paradise, right?
Exactly.
That's the way it works. Now, it's become pretty apparent to anybody following this video series of mine that I find Blackie's fraudulent behavior regarding the military and him claiming to be Air Force when he wasn't, it's pretty obvious at this point that he wasn't, I find it to be downright reprehensible. Now, while I was fortunate enough to not lose any friends I made from my unit when I was deployed to Iraq in 2010, said friends of mine knew people from other units that did perish in the line of duty. So I know full well that they would universally and unanimously approve of my exposure of Blackie as a stolen valor fraud. However, if anybody that thinks I'm pissed off at what Blackie is doing, I can guarantee you that this man is probably 5 times more pissed off, because from what I understand, you've actually lost close personal friends of yours while in the Air Force. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
And it was in the line of duty?
In the line of duty.
Wow. So anybody that is running with this whole thing of, oh, it's internet drama, check yourself. All right. Stolen valor transcends internet drama. We veterans do not play with this shit. Whether it's on the internet or whether it's in the real, we are highly sensitive to this kind of shit. People claiming to have been in the military when they never were for this very reason. Chances are we know people or know people that knew people that died in the line of duty. Or if they didn't die in the line of duty, they died from, suicide based on, them not being able to handle PTSD or for whatever reason. But now, for those who aren't aware, Blackie has started this recent video series titled Journey Through the Air Force, where he talks about his supposed Air Force experiences in supposed detail, which so far he's been going over his supposed basic training experiences. And I find this funny that he's starting this video series after the video where he showed his BDU, where he blatantly said he hated being in the Air Force, yet now all of a sudden is nostalgic about it. So that to me is kind of a red flag. When he started this, I got people contacting me wanting my reaction on it. Blackbond not only sent me a Twitter DM linking me to the shit, but also linked me to it via Steam chat. And I didn't really have much to say about it at the time for 3 reasons. Number one, none of these videos show any tangible evidence whatsoever, like, oh, I don't know, the DD214 that myself, Red Raven, and a fuck ton of other people have been demanding that he show. Number 2, given Blackie's history of pathological lying, if he told me it was nighttime right now, I'm going outside to look at the sky to confirm myself. I wouldn't believe anything Blackie says if his tongue was notarized by the United States Supreme fucking Court. That's the entire fucking reason we've been demanding that he show his DD214 to begin with. And third and finally, even if Blackie was a trusted, reliable source, I can't really confirm or deny anything he said because I wasn't in the Air Force. I was in the Army. And while the overall end goal is the same, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Raven, there are some fairly radical differences between Air Force basic training and Army basic training. Is that remotely true?
I mean, it's somewhat similar, but I mean, what can you say about it? If you were in the Air Force, you would know everything about it. But if you pointed out a couple things, just from your basic knowledge of Army Basic, you've already know more than Blackie does. I mean, it's kind of pathetic, to be honest. I mean, the amount of red flags just from his part 1 and part 2 Air Force Journey video that I can point out on my pen and paper pad here is, I mean,
and you're just going over like a
later.
You're just going over like a brief sort of thing, and you're planning on going over like it in higher detail in like a later video, right?
Right. I'll go over some more. To be honest, it's been over a year since I uploaded my last video, and after my last video, I think I made enough points where, you know, it's pretty obvious this guy is, you know, stolen valor. I mean, I don't know where else I could have taken it other than it, you know, being more drama.
And plus, you had like a lot going on in your personal life.
Exactly. I really don't have time to be uploading videos at all, pretty much. I'm a really busy guy. Actually, the Great Exposer, I actually contacted you a long time ago about a few topics, and I never, you know, really made it through with that. And kind of want to apologize, but I want to thank you for taking it the route you have taken it, because goddamn, you have exposed this guy to the max level. And I mean, the DD-214, it was on the table since day one.
Exactly.
I mean, to draw this out to the point we've come to now, where he's showing his BDU uniform with said patch to rebuttal your videos, I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, like I showed
that's exactly what these stolen valor guys do, is they get these uniforms off Amazon or from wherever the fuck they get them from. Granted, I guess he's a little smarter. He got a patch, which I could get off Amazon or eBay right now. Whatever unit I want, I mean, it's available for the public.
Exactly. And like I showed in my response video to his BDU video, I got the shit off eBay. And I just used it to clown his fucking ass, just to show how easy it was for me to get and how not tangible proof it was for him to show that. Like, it didn't prove a goddamn thing. But
he's basically that guy walking around on the street in uniform with his Starbucks coffee in the airport, asking for hand-me-outs.
Exactly. But yeah, man, I was happy to fucking do it, because I already couldn't stand how Blackie Lebowski conducted himself online to begin with. I mean, flashing guns and threatening people and using terrorism and ISIS to fuel an anti-Sony agenda for over pieces of plastic and a console war. I mean, that already in and of itself, you know, rubbed me the wrong way. But then when you made your video pretty much exposing him to be a stolen valor fraud, that just took it to a whole new level with me being in the Army. And like I said, I was thankful enough to not know any friends of mine that died in light of duty, but those friends of mine knew people from other units that did. So it was more of me doing it for them.
I mean, either way, the guy just pisses me off, to be honest. I don't regularly make YouTube videos. If I do, it's something stupid. When I used to have free time, I used to have a lot of free time, but when I got out of the Air Force,
work pretty much took over.
egg people on with his bullshit and make a joke of the United States military.
Exactly. And I mean, and he keeps going with this. Like, it's been proven pretty definitively that he's full of shit. Yet
I don't
he's
know. I don't know how far you can take it without paperwork, man. Because uh, what I brought up to you earlier was that he goes and shows his BDU uniform that his dad brought him.
Mm-hmm.
My uniform, first off, when I got out of the military, I threw it out. Because to me, that's nothing. The only thing that matters to me is things like my ribbon rack that I have finally placed on my wall to show everyone that I have served. But for your uniform to still be available after all this time,
Well,
it's just like it's kind of strange, dude. Like, where's your ribbon rack? Where are your certificates? Where's your DD-214?
exactly.
Where is it?
And honestly, he said he got that BDU. He said he got that BDU jacket from his dad's house. So even if he did keep his uniform, what the hell was it doing in his dad's house? That leads me to believe that it is his dad's.
See, the thing is I wouldn't even care about. That's why his the video that he put out with his uniform. Honestly, I looked over it, and that was it. There was nothing to debunk there other than who gives a shit. Just like his newest videos, his Air Force journey, part 1, part 2. Oh, by the way, where's part 3? It's already been 10 days.
Exactly. Oh, he's going to make some excuse that, oh, he's out getting pussy or whatever. Well, if that's the case, why is he even on YouTube to begin with?
It's just real strange to me because, to be honest with you, if you're an actual veteran, no veterans talk about basic training. They don't care about basic training. You only care about basic training when you're in basic training.
Exactly.
And when you go into tech school, you might talk about it with certain peers in your classroom. Yeah, it was interesting, blah, blah, blah. But once you get into the real military, which is your job, that's all you remember and that's all you care about. Because that's what actually made a difference. That's when you're actually a soldier and make a difference.
It's what you spend the most time with.
Right. Nobody talks about basic training. But we'll get into that later. Bring up some points.
Now, when I was in basic training, a common question between fellow basic training enlistees was, what was your MOS or what's your MOS? And mine, I started out as a 25 mic, which is a multimedia illustrator. My recruiter fed me a line of shit, basically said that, oh, well, you don't need to do any hand drawing. It's all computer based, which I have an associate's degree in interactive multimedia production. So it's basically doing what my degree field is in the Army. Well, come to find out, when I get to AIT, the very first course is hand drawing. I can't hand draw to save my life. So I ended up failing out of it twice and getting reclassed to a fueler, petroleum supply specialist, aka 92 Foxtrot. But at the time in basic training, you know, whenever somebody asked me, what's my MOS? 25 mic. And they ask, well, what's that? And I say multimedia illustrator. Now, like I said, I don't know how it works in the Air Force because I was never in the Air Force, but would you say in basic training, from what you remember, that that's a common thing, or was basic training in the Air Force like structured based on AFSC or job, so that question didn't even need to be asked?
No, it's later down the road where before you even get into the basic, once you get your ASVAB results, I think it's like a top 5 list that you pick of whatever AFSC you want to serve in or work in. And then I think it's like 3 or 4 weeks into basic. Bear with me. I'm just going off the top of my head from like 12 years ago. I think it's like the 3-4 week period where it comes down to you get I forget how they did it, but I'm pretty sure they notify you of your job and where you're going to head to your next base for tech school.
Because my whole thing is
But the thing is that your basic training is not structured around your job. Everyone goes through the same basic training.
That's what I figured.
Well, once you get into week 6 and you're walking around parading in your Blues uniform, you know, and actually sort of coming back to reality out of the basic training hell that you're in, you sort of get a grasp on where you're going to go. This is after Warrior Week, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little strange when Blackie talks about his Air Force journey in his part 1 video. He talks about, well, he doesn't say it. He doesn't say that he actually landed in Lackland Air Force Base. But he talks about when men in uniform with the black berets on raided his bus with machine guns.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, man. Because basic training is your AFSC doesn't kick in after basic training. It kicks in once you graduate basic, and then you go to tech school.
I mean, because my whole thing.
So the only guys raiding your bus are TIs with TI hats, or TIs in training, which don't even have TI hats. So where did these guys with black berets and machine guns come from? Red flag?
Exactly.
It's bullshit.
Because my whole thing is he in the BDU video, he claims that he was never told the AFSC code. That's like me going to the recruiter or going through the Army and never knowing my MOS, never knowing that it was 25 Mike or 92 Fox. That doesn't make any logical sense. And I said in my video, and like I said, that's one of the common questions that, at least when I was in the Army, basic training enlistees asked each other, like, hey, what's your MOS? Where are you going to be doing after basic training ends? So
yeah, well, Air Force guys, we don't find out till like week 5, week 6, something like that. Pretty much when we're right about to graduate.
Gotcha.
When we talk about it, because I remember speaking to a few guys. I'm like, hey, man, where are you going? You know, like, I know it's way towards the end, like close to graduation. But still, it's basic training. Like, who cares?
Yeah, and for the record, with Blackie claiming he's security forces, his AFSC is 3 Papa 0 X-ray 1. If anybody is curious, with the Air Force, I know it's 5 digits. Army and I think Marines is 3 digits. But anyways, now you told me that you kind of told me this in private. There was something regarding his ASVAB and kind of like a red flag regarding the job title that he actually picked based on what he claims he did with the ASVAB. Do you want to share any details about that?
Yeah, pretty much part 1 in his video, he says something in a sort of, I went the security forces route, but I could have been, quote unquote, laying concrete and working construction, blah, 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 as Red Horse, which, by the way, well, first off, let me just tell you this right here, just to fill you in on how the ASVAB works and how you get put in a certain job title. There's 4 different brackets in the Air Force. G would be general, M will be mechanical, A will be admin, E will be electrical. So you get put in a certain category based off your ASVAB score. Blackie would have scored 33 at least to be in the security forces. Now, that's pretty low, and that's in the category of general. Now, there are a lot of general jobs in the Air Force that I like to talk about, but I won't because they're pretty shitty. But security forces is down there, and I don't mean to insult any security forces people out there because these guys, like, it doesn't matter what your job is in the military. Like,
everybody's important. Everybody serves a purpose.
Right, like when you get down to ASVAB scores and shit like that, it should be like active duty or veterans just shooting the shit and making fun of each other, because we all shoot the shit, like even branches. Like we all know this.
Absolutely.
But the thing is when you start lying about what you actually did, you know, that's the point we're at right now. So Blackie scored ASVAB score at least higher than a 33 general. He mentions he could have been laying concrete, working at Red Horse, which would require him to have a mechanical of at least 47, which is very high, mind you. A score of 47 would qualify you for Red Horse. And this is just in the mechanical category, not even general. So let's talk about jobs he could have had if it weren't for Red Horse. He could have been fixing up Humvees in a motor pool at an ASVAB score of 40 mechanical. So he's telling us that he could have possibly been Red Horse, but he didn't choose the route to be a mechanic in motor pool or something like that. I mean, think about all the job opportunities you could have after the Air Force working for mechanical.
Exactly.
But he chose to go security forces? Okay, that's kind of strange. He's going from one ball field to another with that, because you got to have a very good score to be a Red Horse. Just throwing that out there. A lot of mechanical.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
47, a lot of jobs you can do with a mechanical score of 47 baseline.
And didn't he say in that video that he essentially, quote unquote, bombed his ASVAB?
Oh, yeah, that's another good point, because there's no way you can bomb an ASVAB with a mechanical score of 47.
Exactly.
That's a good fucking score. That's an awesome score.
So how is it that you're bombing an ASVAB and have the choice to work Red Horse?
Exactly.
But
he made it a point to be one or the other, the lowest of the low, which is a general score of 33, and then we go to mechanical of 47.
Those two don't go together. It's too big of a gap.
And don't forget, you have other categories such as admin and electrical. What do you get on those? So it just doesn't make sense. He could have worked a way better job. It's just a red flag, man.
I mean, there's red flags all over the place. Tony Yayo, Crap Gamer needs to be exposed. He's been exposed to hell, and he's going to continue to get exposed. Matter of fact, I have a video in the future. I'm actually going to start a new YouTube series. It's going to be a very interesting YouTube series if I don't, if I don't let my laziness get the better of me. And Crap Gamer is actually going to be involved, but that's actually not what we're talking about here. Now, the one thing that stood out to me, I think it was there's two things. There was one thing in part one, and then the second thing in part two. I'll do part two first. He claimed his name was James. Now, obviously on an Army uniform with your name tag, it's your last name. It works the same with the Air Force, correct?
Of course.
That's what I thought.
Branch of the military.
That's what I thought. Now, first of all, his name has been doxed. It's out there. I have it in my possession. His name is not James. It's nowhere. It's not his first name. It's not his middle name. It's not his last name. But even if it was, if he was going to reveal that in that part two of his Journey Through the Air Force series, that kind of makes him covering up the name tag on his BDU video absolutely pointless. It's like this dude, it's like this dude's running like a chicken with his head cut off. Like he doesn't know what he's too stupid to know what he's doing. It's like he's making this shit up as he's going along. Now, the one thing that really stood out in my mind from part one of his Journey Through the Air Force video, there was a part, I think it was around 3 minutes and 14 seconds, something along the lines. He plays Reveille, the part that goes, and he goes on to say that he saw people moving around during that and going and saying something about the Lackland lasers or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know you told me it kind of works differently in Air Force basic training. But when I was in the real Army, well after basic training, there ain't a single swinging dick or split tail that moves when Reveille is playing. The only people that do move are the ones that are raising the flag on post. And when they're done, if the song's still playing, they salute the flag just like pretty much everybody else on the installation is. So where he's getting this whole thing of people moving around when that's playing, no, it don't fucking work like that at all. Nobody moves when Reveille is playing, at least not in the regular Army. Now in basic training, you told me that's when people pretty much wake up, correct?
That's when trainees wake their ass out of bed and throw their boots on in 5 seconds.
So
you're asleep. When you hear Reveille play, that's like your alarm clock.
So how is it that he's seeing people? I mean, is he talking about the fellow soldiers moving around? I mean, I don't like the fellow soldiers in his bunkers moving around. Even then, that doesn't really add up. From my understanding, even in basic training, unless like you're getting up or something, even then, shouldn't you salute or stand at attention or something?
No, pretty much in basic, Reveille is just there to wake your ass up because you're not part of the real Air Force yet. So your training schedule is set around Reveille. You hear it go off, that's when you wake up.
Well, based on his wording,
based
on his wording, how he was saying it, it almost implies that he was seeing. I mean, a matter of fact, I even think he used the term marching when it comes to soldiers. He said first he said they were moving around, then he said they were marching. So either way, the dude can't get his story straight. And if he's seeing people marching, how's he seeing people marching when he's just waking up, throwing on his what would it be, PT uniform?
Yeah, there's no way.
It does not add up.
Does add up. Another red flag.
I mean, this dude's just tossing out red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. And he I don't know if it's a mental issue or if it's some kind of dissociative identity disorder, or like one of his personalities actually believes it. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I forgot about this quote when I was talking about his AFSC and he was talking about Red Horse, whatever. He actually says, and I quote, about security forces, "That was the only job that would accept me," end quote. But he could have possibly worked for Red Horse and met a plethora of jobs with a mechanical score of 47.
So if it's the only job that it would accept him, what is he talking about going to Red Horse? That's another contradiction.
And once again, security forces is a general with a minimum of 33.
Now,
so that is probably one of the juiciest red flags that we got going right now is just based off that.
Now,
but not to deviate from where you are right now about the Reveille and all that shit.
What was that?
Not to deviate from the topic we're talking about right now.
Understood. Now, actually going back to that BDU video, he had the patch for the 341st Security Forces. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Blackie tell you when you asked for his AFSC that it was 321st Security Forces?
Yeah, it's in my video. I'm pretty sure it's screenshotted, isn't it?
Well, the screenshot that I have was with you saying that, basically reminding him that he told you 321st Security Forces Squadron, and he didn't really confirm or deny it.
For sure, he said that.
That's what I thought.
For sure, he changed up his squadron.
Yeah.
maybe should have came prepared with that screenshot, because I took so many screenshots of our conversation afterwards, after the first 2 videos came out.
Well, I can probably get it later and probably post it on Twitter or something.
I mean, I don't think I deleted them, but
well, either way, I'm pretty sure, because you even said it in the video like multiple times.
if I said it in the video, then it's true, because I'm not making any of this shit up.
Exactly. Then all of a sudden it becomes 341st Security Forces. Like, are we expected to believe that he forgot his actual unit name? I don't think so. That's like an MOS or AFSC. You don't forget that shit.
Right. There's no way you forget that, but you somehow remember terms like Lackland laser
and rainbow or rainbows, whatever he said.
Yeah, rainbows.
And
for those of you that don't know, they call you rainbows in basic training because you're marching with civilian clothes on, and everyone has different colored shirts on. So they call you rainbows. I actually had to Google this, because who the fuck remembers terms like this? It's only been 12 years since I've been in basic. You don't remember any of this shit. I had to Google that. Exposed.
So I guess self-exposed. And then right. And then didn't you say if it was it's pretty obvious that, you know, with these terms that he's using and whatnot, that all he really did was watch like a sample Air Force basic training video on YouTube and took notes?
Oh yeah, it's so obvious that's what he did. Any of you could literally just jump on YouTube right now, YouTube, Google, whatever, and just type in Air Force basic training video, and I'm sure you'll find a video where they pretty much run through. This has been available since VHS tapes, because I remember before going into basic, they had a VHS tape for Air Force basic training, and I popped it in, and they pretty much take you through every single week. And they actually interview the trainees that are in training, and I don't know if they did or not. It's been such a long time since I watched this VHS tape, but they go into detail with everything. So that's literally all you have to do is for 30 minutes, sit your ass down on a chair, go on YouTube, type in Air Force basic training, and then you could pick out these specialty terms like rainbow and Lackland laser and quote unquote, I think it was a greenish, yellowish flashlight that they used to wave in aircraft or something that Blackie said.
Yeah. I mean,
man, got me. You definitely served, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, maybe, you know, maybe that's what, I mean, there was a comment on one of those videos. I don't remember which one. I think somebody said something along the lines of, oh, glad you cleared this up, because you talking about this as well as a still image of the Air Force symbol really makes your story believable.
I hope that was sarcastic.
Oh, it was. It definitely was. Because people are catching on. I mean,
it's unbelievable at this point.
He got so many thumbs downs on those 2 videos, he disabled the ratings. Yet,
oh yeah, I saw that.
Yet, I thought he didn't. He relished all this hate. So what is he disabling the ratings for?
I mean, I saw his the first time I watched the video, he already had a bunch of negative thumbs downs.
Yeah.
I didn't expect anything different.
And what's interesting is, I don't know if he has me blocked or he has me like on restricted mode or whatever, but if I'm not logged in to Google, my comments will not show up in any of his videos comment section. As a matter of fact, there's a guy on YouTube named Anthropic Void, also known as Lulzy Artist. He made some comments on one of those videos, basically exposing Blackie for a fraud and also dropping his name. I responded to one of those comments, and then in a follow-up comment, he flat out said, you know, my comments were not showing up. What a surprise. Like they wound up in Neverland somewhere. So either he's got me blocked or he's got some sort of restricted mode turned on to where he doesn't see any of my comments, or nobody does.
I'm sure he has you blocked one way or the other. I know I am for sure, because when we were going back and forth with the first 2 videos that I uploaded, he blocked me instantly.
Of course.
And there was no way I could read his. It was kind of strange. I don't know if YouTube changed it, but I can read his comments on my mobile phone on the YouTube app.
Well, I can read all the comments.
Logged in with my account. I can read my comments on his page like nothing changed. But whenever I would go on my PC, like they're gone.
That's weird.
So yeah, it is weird, but I think they changed that. It was something with the mobile YouTube app. But it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously I got blocked. I got blocked on Twitter. Still blocked to this day.
Well, he doesn't even have a Twitter account anymore. He shut that down a long time ago.
I wouldn't know. Apparently,
what he claims is he had some kind of falling out with a girlfriend, which may or may not be real. I seem to think, because he was also getting trolled on Twitter as well. I mean, ever since because I brought this stuff out in the open during the last CSAs, because I was a panelist on there. And when it came time, because Blackie was actually in the running for the Corporate Slave Awards. And when it came time to, talk about him, he hadn't been around the majority of the year as far as corporate slaving goes. But when it came time to talk about him, I pretty much let the cat out of the bag, and pretty much all of the community knew about it at that point. And ever since then, pretty much on all his videos, massive thumbs downs, people asking, where's his DD214, and all this good stuff. So it's out in the open.
I really appreciate you brought all this awareness, out in the open, because after, I know my videos got a couple hits here and there, but I mean, it was nothing on level of, where you took it. And I could do nothing but thank you for that.
Oh, I was happy to do it.
It was kind of in the dark. The only people that would comment on my videos were just trolls, or just guys that are balls deep in Blackie Lebowski's shit.
Pretty much. And I got to thank you for making that initial video, because that's what got me the information and got the ball rolling on my end too. I don't even remember. I'm not sure if maybe you linked me the video or somehow. I don't even remember how I found the video. But either way, I found it, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, I kind of left it alone after the second video. I didn't link anybody. I think after kind of got bored with the trolling responses. They were pretty much all Blackie Lebowski fans. At that time, he still had his channel, and he still did that podcast with them Xbox guys. So we had all the Xbox guys coming on my channel that don't know shit about the military, like talking shit.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but he switched back. He switched alliances. He's now a Nintendo corporate slave again.
Oh, he went back to his roots?
Yep, he sure did. And
Ashvillian, right?
No, he's still Blackie, but yeah, he's now Blackie Lebowski and gone back to his Ashvillian Nintendo fanboyism.
I wonder how many people know about that.
Enough people in the community know about it. It's pretty much YouTube crumb-side lore, as it were.
That was his waving guns around in the air days.
Yep, I'll kill you. I'll kill you because you're calling me a pedophile because I like Nintendo, even though nobody was calling anybody a pedophile because they like Nintendo.
And that was around the same time he was oh man, I forget his name, but did he call some Air Force guys boss because of some video that he put out?
I don't remember. Actually, now that I think about it, the only person that was calling people a pedophile for liking Nintendo was Next Gen 720, which is one of his boys. So,
no, I'm talking about the Air Force guy. that Blackie Lebowski went out his way to try to contact his boss by getting information of he was living on base at the time.
Oh, you're talking about Arbiter.
His victim. Yes, that's his name, Arbiter. That was around the same time, wasn't it?
I think it was. I think it was after he'd already become Blackie Lebowski. I think the order of events was he waved his guns around, got exposed for it, deleted his Ash Villain account, came back as Blackie Lebowski, and then everybody knew he was Ash Villain, and he was denying it, which pretty much that right there pretty much sealed the deal that this dude cannot be trusted worth a fuck. He lies constantly. And then that's when the whole thing happened where Arbiter made a response video towards Blackie showing that the Kinect was absolutely worthless, and Blackie got ass hurt because of it. And Blackie.
All over a piece of plastic toy.
Exactly.
This man is getting this guy's personal information and calling his boss on Air Force Base.
I think Arbiter was actually Army. I'm not 100% sure. He may have been Air Force.
Yeah, I'm
not sure.
sorry for it's been so long since I saw that video, but I remember it clearly.
Yeah, trying to get another man fired over video games.
Right, and that was the whole deal right there. Like, really, man? Over video games, you're gonna fucking go out your way to get in contact with this guy's boss?
And here's something else. That I find funny. Blackie blatantly, right before he flagged the dude's video, he basically told him, "I don't give a fuck about your fair use. I'm gonna flag your video anyway, you fucking faggot." Now, what's interesting about that? He doesn't care about another person's fair use rights, yet he's going to law school.
Exactly.
Like, are you serious?
Oh my God. I kind of want to stay away from the law school shit because I don't know nothing about law school. Like, that's not my deal with this guy, but just the words coming out of his own mouth. I haven't even put in an app for law school, but it just sounds stupid. Like, it doesn't make sense. This guy.
I mean, there's a lot of
what sort of law school are you going to, buddy?
Exactly. There's a lot of red flags with the whole law school thing too. How he conducts himself. I mean, somebody actually sent me, and I haven't looked deeply into it to confirm or deny the validity of it, but the gist of it is somebody who is a law school student, I think overseas, and knows a little bit about this. He watched the BDU video that he did and saw a textbook, something called LSAT Victory or something like that. And the guy noticed that it was an old edition of that textbook. Now, if you know anything about law, you know that law is an ever-changing field. So how is he using some old, outdated textbook in his current law school studies or using it to try to get into law school? An old edition of a textbook. That's another red flag as far as the law school stuff. But I mean, the dude is just a living, breathing, walking monument of fraudulence in every aspect.
Even if he's in a law career field, like, where's that going to take him with his videos floating around with him waving guns around?
Exactly.
If his client were to YouTube, somehow get his info and see his dumb ass on YouTube waving guns around, getting pissed off over video games and whatever. I mean, the fuck?
Exactly. I actually said that in one of my videos. With how he conducts himself on YouTube, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a client, but maybe one of his bosses at the law firm managed to find his YouTube account and see how he conducts himself. His ass is getting disbarred.
I mean, there's some things that you can put into question there with some of his videos because they're very threatening in tone.
Absolutely. I mean, in that fucking BDU video, which I now have archived in my response video, he said he would, beat the shit out of me if he met me in the real. And and there you go. That's becoming behavior of a lawyer.
I don't think so.
Yeah. You don't think so? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure any
all
rational
this,
thinking human being.
all this can be used against him
Exactly.
in law. His behavior. You're not supposed to be putting yourself out there like that.
Exactly. Now, as far as the two, you're planning on making a video here pretty soon, getting into more detail based on his journey through the Air Force video. Is that correct?
Right. I'm gonna make a video with just screenshots and things like of that nature, so you guys that aren't familiar with military can kind of look at it and go, "Oh, hey, that's what he's talking about."
And it'll pretty much show him to be even bigger fraud than he already is.
Right.
Was there anything else that you kind of you thought, need to be touched upon, or any specific detail you wanted to go over about those videos?
Yeah. Where's this DD214?
Well, I mean, other than
that. To be honest with you, all this is pointless right now.
Exactly.
Because all he has to do is show his DD214. I mean,
yeah, I've been saying that for months. He can say anything he wants.
We can nitpick at every single little thing he says. It doesn't really matter because it's not official until he shows that document.
Exactly.
So he could go ahead and have his dad send his boots that are probably still polished and whatever. Like, I know I said earlier, I brought it up that he didn't bring up or show his ribbon rack in his video, which is probably the first thing a veteran would show, not his uniform. Like,
but technically, if you know where to look, can't anybody get that as well?
You can. All you have to do is go online. You can buy ribbons, and there you go.
Exactly. So
it's the same story, but the point of that was that you wouldn't show your uniform. You would show your ribbon rack with all your accomplishments. Is what you would normally show.
Exactly.
I have it on my wall right here.
I mean, just so many.
That's what I show my family and friends. They ask about my service and what I did. I tell them about it. Show them my ribbon rack. I tell them about my deployments, this and that. It's what you would normally do.
Dark Star Archangel. You call that a red flag. I call that a black flag, a blackie flag. But yeah, I mean, he can say anything he wants. I mean, until he shows that DD214, it's just background noise. It's meaningless.
Yeah, it's petty. It's petty.
I've been saying that for months. I've literally been telling him for months. His only way out of this is to show his DD214. If it shows anything else, it will only further expose him and just bring up more questions.
Yeah, show your DD214, block out all the sensitive material. I mean, I know you've been doxxed already because you're a piece of shit and everyone hates you. I mean, I'm sure that's good for your law school knowing that you've been doxxed already.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. In that video where he showed the BDU, somebody in the comment section actually asked for his DD214, and his response was, and I quote, "I have to pay $9 to get it sent to me. No thanks."
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up because I know me and you talked about this earlier. And it's actually not $9. It's $0.
Exactly.
To get your DD214 because it's yours.
Well, on the website, they said in most cases they don't charge, but if they do, they'll let you know. But that's got to be very special circumstances in which they charge anything.
I would say if you're probably overseas somewhere in Europe or something like that, and you got to pay I don't know, some sort of tax. I have no idea.
Exactly.
But the thing is they can't fax it over to you. They actually have to send it through the mail, a physical copy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did this because I needed a few copies of my DD214. Yeah, they don't charge you for it. It's yours.
Exactly.
That's one of the things. Once you get out of the service, they have all your records for you. You can print it out whenever you want.
Exactly. Just more bullshit.
I'm gonna bring this up in my video. I showed you the actual screenshot of the website because I was doing like a fake fill out requesting a DD214, and there was no information. You saw it. There was no information there that said, "Hey, we need your debit card info." Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Or send us $9 in the mail.
Exactly, because it doesn't exist. You don't typically have to pay anything.
Exist. You don't have to pay for shit, man. That DD214 is yours.
Exactly. And then also in the same video,
it's the most important document in your entire military career is your DD214.
Exactly. It becomes almost as important as your social security card. In some ways, even more so. I mean, the chances of you losing it are very, very slim. It would have to be something like it's beyond your control, like a house fire or a flood or something like that.
There's no way you can lose it because it'll be on that GOV website. They have all your info. So if you lose a physical copy, they'll send you another physical copy because you need it for things like medical benefits.
Education benefits.
Yeah, education. That's a couple. And he talks about using his GI Bill, things like that. So
that's a good point. I didn't think about that. How did he use his GI Bill without a DD214?
I mean, they obviously you would have to serve to use your GI Bill. First of all.
And you have to have proof of service, which is what now?
What service?
Exactly.
Starting to think maybe best case scenario for Blackie Lebowski, he went to basic training, but he got washed out.
I don't even think
that's essentially what his part 1 and part 2 video, Air Force Journey, told me, is that he's 100% full of shit or he's 90% full of shit. He went into basic training and he got washed the fuck out, which happens a lot. People don't make it through basic all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would lean towards 100% at this point. I don't even think he went through basic training, to be honest with you. There's just way, way, way too many red flags.
It's true.
Even basic shit. Now, also in that BDU video, in the comments section, he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I could just Google one, print it out, and make it look like it was mine," which, yeah, he could. But number one, it would be even with Photoshop skills, it would be very hard to produce a convincing forgery. And number two, I actually kind of, in my Chronicles of the DD214 special video that was like 30 plus minutes long, I actually revealed that I subtly gave him the idea to do that, and he still didn't do it. So because he wasted so much time dancing around the issue, he's pretty much closed that off for himself. And because he even brought that up, I'm not going to allow him, if he does somehow show a DD214, which I don't think it's going to happen. I want to see two pieces of information. I want to see his full name, and I want to see his unit information to verify that 341st Security Forces Squadron was his unit and not his dad's. Everything else he can block out, social, address, anything like that. But if he does show a DD214, if he blocks out his name or unit information, I'm not going to accept it, because as far as I'm concerned, it's probably a forgery.
Or he can screenshot. Well, I wouldn't say he could do that either, because he could probably find a screenshot of Google. But I was going to say he can screenshot himself on a GOV website for records purposes.
Right. Kind of like you did.
Right, because it's a GOV website. You can't just log in. You got to actually have work for the government to get into these websites. But let's keep it basic. And DD214, where's it at, buddy?
No shit. And now what's interesting is he claims that he's never going to show his DD214 because it contains personal information. Well, number one,
I already told him to block out the sensitive information. He should
exactly
should have done so and showed it.
Exactly. Number one, I said he could block out the personal information as well, so there's no excuse there. Number two, his name has already been revealed, so what the hell are you losing?
Yeah, you've already been doxxed, you fucking moron. Like I should, in my video, it's still there. I have my physical DD214 on video.
And number three, if he really found his personal information that important, he wouldn't have partially doxed himself when he made the video defending Nintendo friend codes. In that video, he showed his Switch screen name, and part of his Switch username contained his middle name, Sean. So you're going to expect me to believe that you care so much about your anonymity, yet you're going to show something like that and partially dox yourself? Come on now. I mean, I may have been born at night, but it wasn't last night, and I've been up all fucking day. I mean, he thinks we're all just fucking drooling retards, and we're just going to automatically believe the dumb shit he says.
No, I don't think he thinks we are drooling retards. I think he thinks his followers are drooling retards, and I don't know where he's trying to take it with his channel, because his channel is shit. If you were to ask me, like, I don't know where he's taking it, because usually when you start a YouTube channel and you know, when you've been in the game for so long, your following should be a little higher than what he's got it at.
Exactly.
So I don't really know where he's going with the whole channel, but I guess he wants to feel special and be a part of Xbox Legion, or what are they with Crap Gamer Guy? The
BGST.
Yeah, BGST.
Well, he's no longer an X-bot. He's switched back to being a Nintendrone.
Oh, okay.
He's betrayed. He's pulled a Revolver Ocelot, basically. He's now the Revolver Ocelot of the Crumbside gaming community, with him constantly switching plastic allegiances.
Damn, he's pretty good.
But was there anything else that you wanted to cover?
I think for now we pretty much covered. I pretty much just wanted to talk about his new videos that came out, the part 1 and part 2. Part 3, which is MIA. It's been 10 days. Like I said, I'm real busy, but I'll try to put something together that's, legit, because I don't want to just put something out there that's, stupid. Like, I don't want to waste anyone's time. So I want to make the video actually, very well put together. A lot of screenshots to expose his part 1 and 2s. Pretty much what we talked about in this live stream, I'm gonna put it against that video with screenshots, so you know what we're talking about. I don't know. I mean, I think I've done my job after my last video, man, but you took it to the next level, and I was following your channel for a little bit, and I was like, man, it's great to be noticed in the Crumb side for once. But, it actually means a lot, man, because this is, for me, it's a big deal, but it didn't really get a lot of traction until you started using my videos for your videos. So I appreciate that.
And I appreciate your video that got the whole ball rolling, and I was more than happy to do it. But yeah, Blackie, if you just so happen to be listening to this, give it up, dude. All right, you've been exposed, arguably more than anybody could possibly be exposed in this community. I mean, you just come up with more fucking bullshit to fucking spew, thinking that your audience or whoever you're trying to convince of this is stupid. It's like you don't. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, he disabled ratings for his newest videos. So
yeah, well, so what's that fucking tell you? I mean,
yeah, it's time to delete them videos. It's time to change your. I mean, I know you're a Nintendrone right now, but you might as well go back to Xbox.
It's time to get the fuck off this. It's time to get the fuck off this website and never return under any username, because he's pretty much destroyed his entire YouTube presence, regardless of what username he goes under. I mean, he kind of already destroyed it before with the whole waving guns, in front of the camera thing, but then this whole stolen valor thing, I mean, there is no recovery from that. And he just continues to lie and fraud and bullshit. And, you know, he thinks that, I don't know what he thinks. If he thinks we're stupid, if he thinks that, you know, there aren't any real veterans in this community that can see through his bullshit. I don't know what is going through that warped fucking squirming toad mind of his. I mean, there's got to be some kind of mental issue. Now, a couple people recently kind of implied that they didn't like the fact that I was going after, you know, a mentally disturbed man. Well, guess what? He seems to have enough upstairs to where he seemingly lives on his own, and he has enough upstairs to make these fucking videos and post them on YouTube. So as far as I'm concerned, he's fair game. He deserves no special treatment whatsoever, and he's not going to get any. So, yeah, Blackie, you've been fucking exposed. You've been exposed and known for life. You've been exposed to the max. Literally, your only way out of this is to show a legit DD-214, which we all know you cannot do because you are not a legit veteran. You never have been, and you never will be. And that's pretty much all I got to say on this topic until next time, until he, you know, makes another fucking video where he displays even more red flags for me to fucking, you know, pick apart, which I'm sure he'll fucking do because he can't fucking resist it. But yeah, if you got anything else to really add to that, or you want to any last parting thoughts? No, I can't hear you. Your mic is out. Just I guess send me a message if you want to add anything else. Technical difficulties, guys. It's interesting we have these technical difficulties right as we're about to sign off. I don't know if you all can see it on the screen, but Red Raven was happy to be here and share his thoughts on this whole thing. So, and most of all, fuck Blackie. Yeah. I 100% concur with that statement. So yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and end it here. For the Red Raven, this is your great exposer, and I have spoken. So yeah, see ya in another video. Take care, guys.